The soul is the location of our identity and personality. The Bible tells us that this is where our emotions, thoughts, and will are. The body and the spirit serve as windows for the soul to interact with both the physical world and the spiritual world. The body has 5 senses that collect information about the physical world and pass it on to the soul. The soul is able to communicate with the physical world through the physical body. My soul can communicate to your soul because of our physical bodies. Likewise, the spirit has spiritual senses that allow our souls to interact with the spiritual world. Without the body, the soul could not interact with the physical world, and without the spirit, the soul could not interact with the spiritual world. Although the body and the spirit share a common purpose of allowing the soul to interact with the physical and spiritual portions of creation, there are some very important differences. First of all, the body is only temporary, but the spirit is immortal. The body is fashioned from the dust of the earth, and when it dies, it decays and returns to the dust of the earth. It ceases to exist. Dust to dust, ashes to ashes. The spirit, on the other hand, does not cease to exist. It will continue on forever. In spite of this immortality, however, it's possible to experience spiritual death. A dead spirit refers to separation in relationship to Jesus Christ, not to its ceasing to exist or to function. In 1 John chapter 5, verse 12, it explains that spiritual life is a relationship with Jesus Christ, and spiritual death is separation from Jesus Christ. It says, "He that hath the Son hath life, and he that hath not the Son of God hath not life." Thus, a dead spirit can exist and function, but it doesn't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Another difference is that the soul separates from the body, as indicated by the description of Rachel's death in Genesis chapter 35, verse 18. But it never separates from the spirit. The soul and spirit are inseparable and will remain together forever, either in hell or in heaven. Daniel chapter 12, verse 2 supports this idea, saying, "And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to everlasting contempt." This spiritual awareness in heaven or hell throughout eternity is made possible only by a functional spirit always associated with the soul. Another interesting feature about the body is described in Romans chapter 6, verse 12, which says, "Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that ye should obey it in the lust thereof." Sin is a part of the body. It rules the body and influences the information passed on to the soul and contributes to our personality as it's expressed in the physical world. Our decisions are only as good as the information we receive, and if the information from the world is distorted by our bodies as it's being relayed to our souls, we make bad decisions. First of all, let me illustrate how the body influences the way the soul expresses its personality. The body is not an inert shell lacking qualities of emotion, memory, and movement. And in order to accurately understand human personality, it's important to understand the contribution of the body to your personality. Your soul must express itself through the body. So the qualities of the body will contribute to that expression. Sometimes there are personality disorders that result from physical, chemical imbalances in the body. You may feel irritable or emotionally sensitive. These feelings contribute to the way your soul appears to be expressing itself. These feelings can be treated physically with chemicals and alter the way your body responds to its environment or to the soul as the soul is expressing itself through the body. In other words, what people see in your personality is not merely your soul, but your body and your body's additional contribution to what your soul is expressing. Likewise, the body, being the conduit of information from the physical world to your soul, will contribute its own influence on that information. For example, mental retardation of the physical body can retard the intellectual development of the soul, because information from the physical world passing through a body that cannot properly assimilate information relays distorted information to the soul. The soul therefore incorrectly perceives its environment and makes faulty judgments based on faulty information. I like to describe the body and the spirit as filtering windows, or a filter window. This is because not only do they serve to relay information back and forth from the soul to the physical or spiritual world, but they also filter the information, either removing or adding details. If you're colorblind, for example, your body cannot relay information with the full range of colors to your soul that are available to others who are not colorblind. You may be wondering why our soul is currently aware only of the physical world and not the spiritual world. From our experiences, it would appear that there's only a physical world. However, the Bible tells us that there is a spiritual world. Our spiritual blindness is one of the consequences of Adam and Eve's sin in the Garden of Eden. Having been created perfectly, they were equally conscious of both the physical and spiritual dimensions of creation. However, once they sinned, they were blinded spiritually and became totally dependent on their physical bodies to give them awareness of the physical world. This drastic loss of spiritual awareness serves to teach us that spiritual death is very real and that Adam and Eve did indeed die in the garden. Their physical death was delayed. They eventually did die physically, but their spiritual death was immediate. We've inherited this trait from Adam and Eve. I'll explain more about the physical and spiritual death in the next lesson.